They are just too sloppy. You can't play like that and give away possessions in a game that's going to come down to 2 or 3 possessions as it has with this entire Pacers series. So that would be my biggest issue with the Knicks last night.
Really frustrating. The bottom line for me, Sal, is that the Knicks' strengths, and we all know what they are not good enough to cover up their weaknesses, and we all know what those are. That's my takeaway. Like, we watch every second, starting with the Pistons series, and we know if the Knicks do well, and we know if they don't do well. And unfortunately for them, and obviously as a byproduct to us, they have not been able to impose their will long enough against really good teams like Indiana to continue doing what they do well long enough to win. And what the weaknesses are, and again, it's mostly defensively, but the sloppiness with the ball, you're right. Their passing has been a mess lately. They just can't. It's like you patch up one hole, here's some more water, patch this up, here's more. Not good enough. Well, not better than Indiana.
The Pacers star player was better than the Knicks star players last night. The Knicks were way sloppier with the ball. The Knicks did not shoot the ball well. And I don't care what the final score said, like, oh, yeah, they scored 120 points.
Yeah, I know.
Their offense is not good enough. How many shots do we got to watch miss in the first half of the first quarter? Really, that game you could argue was lost in the first quarter. But how many shots we got to see missed by Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns not shooting enough three-pointers? I still don't like the way that they're using them. The Knicks are a jumbled mess. Now, I still don't think the series is over, but we can get to that a little bit later on. But as a individual game last night, Knicks got to play better basketball. End of story. Can't get a stop, can't protect the basketball, can't get a big shot. Like, how are you supposed to win games like that?
You know what I don't get? So it really hit me last night, and you and I have reacted to some of the post-game comments by some of the players that it's come across as very alarming, like, whether it's Josh Hart, Bridges last night, we didn't match their intensity. Like, I think we all know, and we've heard that a few times during the postseason here, going back to the Pistons series, we all know that, they don't defend the pick and roll, and their wings are unreliable shooting the ball, and then they don't have a point guard depth, and they don't have we all know what they don't have. What I didn't know that they didn't have was a championship mindset. I thought this team had more focus, and I thought this team had more heart. Why in the world is Tom Thibodeau, and I appreciate this from him because you can see him coaching his guts out, even though I've been critical. That one sequence, I think they came back from commercial. He's like, guys, we got to sprint back. We're better than this. Sprint back. I mean, you're yelling at guys to run, to sprint up and down the court to get back defensively in transition. That should be a prerequisite. And then you give up 43 in the first quarter, which tells me you're not ready to go. And then again, the same nonsense post game. They were a little tougher, they're a little stronger, a little physicality, whatever they use to explain it away. That has really jumped out to me. I know they've got some basketball deficiencies. Every team does. They're not a championship mindset. They're just not.
But isn't that something that we've kind of alluded to and watched trying to see it develop throughout the course of the year? When you bring in two big players like Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and change the infrastructure of this team, it sometimes it takes time. And we've tried to watch this team gel where it just never felt cohesive at all throughout the course of the regular season. And I was saying I want to see it in the postseason. I want to see what happens when Mitchell Robinson comes back and they're fully healthy. Well, now we've seen it for this is the third series that we're watching it. And while there may be improvements, there's still something off about this team. If they have to yell at each other, and I'm not saying like the incident on the bench that we talked about the other day, that happens normally throughout the course of a series, throughout the course of a game.
I like that, actually. It shows I have no problem with that.
But it is a constant with this team that there's finger pointing and you're not doing this and you're not chasing that and you're not following or rushing back. Like, that should not be the case. Too many times the Knicks, specifically defensively, have not been cohesive enough. And I would further it and say offensively, which is supposed to be their strength. You started talking about, their strengths. Well, what is their strength exactly? We mentioned this a little bit yesterday. It's supposed to be offense. The Knicks were not built to be a defensive juggernaut. They were supposed to be a team that can score the basketball with efficiency, with multiple options.
Sure.
And we have not seen that nearly enough. To me, the best, I don't know what I was going to say quarter, but even half or three quarters was game one of this series where there was ball movement, there was penetration and kicking out to the guys beyond the arc, knocking down the threes. That should be the Knicks offense, and it comes and goes, and then it's one-on-one ball. You saw it with Bridges last night down the stretch. For some odd reason on a team with Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, they're featuring Mikal Bridges. Like, what is exactly the Knicks' identity, specifically offensively?
Well, you raised a good point yesterday because you talked about that, and you further, we went through some of the teams here, right? So I mean, like when you think of a team, even Yankee teams that didn't win built on power, right? Or the St. Louis Cardinals built on speed with, back in the day in the 80s. Like you generally know what you are and who you are. Pistons are built on physicality. The Celtics shoot the heck out of it, both in terms of volume and in terms of makes. And the Pacers, their objective is to get the ball and score in 3, 4, 5 seconds. And they've got a lot of smart, interchangeable shooters and pieces, and they all fit. That's clearly their identity. When you ask what's the Knicks' identity, my answer is probably hope that Jalen Brunson drops 45 and hope that he carries you to a win, and the other guys aren't too deficient like that. That the performances aren't so up and down where they're just good enough to allow Brunson's heroics to win.
The identity,
and that ain't good cut it.
The identity is the individual star power that Brunson has, that Cat has, that maybe Bridges could have on any given night. That's it. But it hasn't been cohesive at all. You know what the Pacers are going to do, and they do it. Some nights, maybe it's not going to be to the level of other nights. And maybe that leads to a loss like it did in Game 3. But you know what they're going to do. Celtics, same thing. You know what they're going to do. The injuries maybe prevent other things. I have no idea what we're getting into every night with the Knicks. You hope. You think what might happen. I don't think they know. And that's the bigger issue. They don't know. They're trying to figure out who they are.
And to do that in the Eastern Conference Finals generally is a recipe to get sent home fairly quick. I mean, you're down, 69-64 at the half, right? We've talked all year about, at least in the playoffs, their third quarter issues. They've been open about that. They've tried to change things in the locker room. They've come out. They've hit the layup line. They've tried to be more engaged. What happens? Bang, you get hit with a quick 7-0 run. Like there were against you. There were so many things that I just didn't understand. OG Anunoby caught the basketball. I feel like it was 4 or 5 times under the rim, and he just wouldn't shoot. Like he's walking on eggshells, man. And it really, I mean, last night was rough, dude. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Knicks offense, stagnant, dribble, corner, pinch, double team, pick and roll, sloppy mess. And then I watch the Pacers rebound 3 seconds up court layup.
Right.
Like it's amazing to know, and I know that Tom Thibodeau clearly points this out to him, that they are going to push, and they still don't get back.
Well, think about it specifically with Anunoby. What do you think Anunoby's strengths are offensively?
What he got here is definitely shooting, because he puts the ball on the floor. I think he's a wreck. He's got no handle.
Correct. Remember we had this debate last year where I was saying, oh, man, he can't. So now you're referencing examples, and by the way, this is not just him trying to create inside the paint or whatever.
Catch a pass and just go up, dude.
I don't want Anunoby in the paint. He should be on the perimeter. To me, same thing with Karl-Anthony Towns. I know Cat, and look, he can have some strong moves, and we've seen it down low.
Yeah.
I want him playing on the perimeter. That, to me, is the strength. Now, maybe eventually it's going to lead to a different coach, and, I love Tibbs maybe more so than you or more than most, but if he's not maximizing their skill set or figuring out where each player's strength is and how to make the most of it, then maybe they need to find somebody who can, because I don't want Anunoby in the paint. I don't want Karl-Anthony Towns trying to play bully ball where he's out of control and hooking arms.
All night hooking.
Oh, my God, dude.
I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, there was a sequence where he played a good 8 or 9 minutes straight, and he was balling, right? And he was exhausted. He was tapped out. There was nothing left in his tank, and he earned a little respite there to get on the bench. But you get that second foul 3 minutes into the game, dude. You know how important you are, and part of it is because, again, the Knicks' defense is a mess, and he's out of position, and he's not quick, and he's reaching, and he's all tripped up, and that's where you get cheap fouls. But I saw at least 4 replays. He's doing the same hook move where he's trying to hook, whether it's Miles Turner.
Yeah.
They're going to call you on that. A few times they didn't.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazingly they didn't. But it's a laziness, and it's a sloppiness, and it's a failure to recognize what they're doing. Like the Pacers, Sal, have not deviated really from their approach from the opening tip of Game 1.
Right.
Whereas every game for the Knicks, it's like a new recipe, whether it's new players, whether it's new sets, run the ball through Towns, run it through Brunson, run it through Bridges late. They were a mess. They're not winning the series. They're not winning the series.
All right, it's not over yet. Not over
Did you notice how I hesitated? I was just about to say hard, it's over. I don't even want to say that.
I know.
Because I do think that they could scrap together a win tomorrow, and then who the hell knows? But man, it is ominous. The Pacers are absolutely better.
The Knicks
They're
are
better.
the Knicks are a maddening basketball team to watch because they should be better than what they are.
That's the word that you used last night. We were doing those reactions. That's the first thing you said. They're maddening. They're maddening because you never know what you're going to get. They're unreliable emotionally, and they're unreliable from a schematical point of view. That's not good.
BT and Sal on the fan. Let's get some calls in here. BT 888-808-1019. Reacting to Game 4 last night. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Brad is calling from Mineola. What's up, Brad?
Gentlemen, I don't want to do what you did, BT, and honestly, I do think they win tomorrow. They find a way because they're not going to lose 3 games at home, but who knows? I don't want to say it's over. I want to think that we can get to a 6th game in Indy, and who knows, maybe there will be a Game 7. But I'm looking at the box score from last night, and honestly, this is the game. 17 turnovers from the Knicks, 11 turnovers by the Pacers. We got outscored by 13 points in fast break points. You know when most of those points were? The ends of the quarters.
Yes.
Quarter 1, the game's close.
Yeah.
Quarter 1, the game's close. They have a run. Quarter 2, we're up 1 with a minute and a half left in the second quarter. We ended down 5. The difference is that they scored 7 straight in quarter 3, and we never could get off the ground. And I'm sorry to say it, but that fourth quarter was officiated wrong, and I hate to bring up the officials. I hate to bring up the refs, but 3 of the 4 fouls that put us into the penalty in that fourth quarter were not fouls.
Refs stunk last night, but it's not an excuse. But the refs stunk again. The refs were bad last night.
But I don't think it was. I don't think it was bad to the point where it cost the Knicks. Like in Game 1, I do think that the whistle went the Pacers' way, and if one call goes the Knicks' way, they win that game. That's how big of a lead they had. That's how incredible of a comeback.
Yeah, well, the goaltend was egregious. I mean, that was just horrendous.
It changed the whole game.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, the Knicks might have single-handedly, even before that. Now, again, Carlisle was smarter with his challenges in Game 1.
Yep.
And if he didn't have those challenges, the Knicks would have benefited from that. They didn't, whatever. They lost Game 1. I don't think last night was a clear, well, the officials cost the Knicks. You mentioned it with Towns before. He was getting the benefit of the whistle as well. Tibbs was good with the challenge twice last night.
He nailed them.
I can't say.
And he got a lot of foul shots, Knicks. They took a ton.
Yeah, so I can't say that the whistle cost the Knicks last night.
No, I'm not saying it cost them. I'm definitely, but it just, it didn't seem. You're right. I mean, nothing else to add. It didn't cost them. It wasn't egregious, but I'm watching the game. I'm like, they missed that. Now, if I'm sitting there and I'm a Pacers fan, do I have a similar mindset? Maybe I'm wrapped up in the fandom, but I believe that I'm usually able in real time, able to do that. Like, that's a good call. That's a bad call. Even if the Knicks got hosed or got the benefit, like I'm generally pretty fair to myself with that. I didn't think that they were great, but the bottom line is that here we are. And 1 year after this team lost in 7 games, okay, to the same team. And I pulled up. I know. I pulled up the box score from last year's Game 7 when they got drilled 130, whatever it was. Pascal Siakam, Nesmith, Turner, Nebhart, Tyrese Halliburton, Obi Toppin. These are all guys who played. Ben Shepherd, T.J. McConnell. It's the same exact team. What's different with the Knicks?
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, are you telling me that the Knicks are getting beat backdoor if Hartenstein's on the court? He's not. Like, they're just... This is the worst good defensive team I've ever seen.
You know, it's also not the starting lineup where people tried to make that the excuse. Well, the starts have been slow. Starting lineup, change it. You've seen the starts here, whether it's the third quarter, whether it's the start of the game.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That doesn't do it.
No, I don't. That's why I don't really know. I don't think Tom Thibodeau's coached a good series. I think Carlisle's absolutely better. But to be fair to Tom Thibodeau, I don't know that there's much more that he could do. Now, you and I were texting. I'm like, we'll save this for the show.
Yes.
Like, obviously, to me, give DeLon Wright a little bit more. I know you laugh at the Shabbat stuff, but at one point, I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, Wright's +8, Shabbat's +7. I don't need a lineup of I don't want to see why am I forgetting the kid from Marquette? Geez, not Tyler Kolpick, Tyler, whatever. Kolek, right? I don't need a rotation of him and bringing back Jericho Sims. But to me, when you've got a couple of guys on the court and the numbers are what they are and there's a favorable plus when they're on the court, Why not run him out there a little more? Why?
We'll have that conversation because I do want to get into some detail about that. We'll do that coming up here. Let's get Ed in West Hampton coming in. What's up, Ed?
Hey, guys.
What's up, Ed?
Hey, Eddie.
All right, Ron is in Baltimore. What's up, Ron?
Hey, good morning, BT and Sal. You need as much ball handling, shooting, and defense on the floor against this Pacers team. To me, Deuce McBride, he had a bad turnover. I watch Deuce McBride every game. He's a quick pass, shoot, dribble guy. I think he needed more minutes in this series. Hart's a non-shooter. He can't dribble. The double big lineup doesn't work against this Pacers team. This, to me, needed to be a Deuce McBride, at least 25 minutes a night series. I want him to start Game 5. The problem is, and you hit on it, Sal, this was supposed to be an offensive maximization team. You needed to get the best out of OG, Bridges, Cat, and Brunson. They didn't embrace a 5-out offense. When your two stars are liabilities on defense, the only way this works is if you get the most out of the offensive talent.
Correct. I'll let you go, Ron, because you're a terrific caller so far. It's infuriating to me. You just nailed it. Now, that may not be good enough ultimately, but that's what they're supposed to be doing, and they're not doing it. It drives me nuts.
While I thank Mr. Thibodeau for building the winning culture, he deserves to lose his job at the end of the season when they lose the series. I needed to be a high assist, 25 to 30 assist night team. I needed to get Bridges, everybody, the rock on the perimeter, and to be a 5-out spacing team. Yes, defensively we are atrocious. We have to fix the bench. We have to get a coach that can play the bench. But I didn't see it. He doesn't treat the regular season the right way. That's not the Super Bowl. The regular season is to figure out the lineups and to figure out what works when it really matters. Deuce McBride needs to start Game 5. I would have started him Game 3, but Tibbs doesn't learn from pressure series like Miami and Indiana. Have a good day, guys. I love you.
Man. I love Deuce. He didn't play well last night. I love him. I'm a huge fan. I think he's got a big future with the Knicks here. And if there is a coaching change, and we'll obviously hit that bigger picture moving forward, I think Deuce's role will explode. But he was off last night. There was one pass. It was a give and go. Instead of taking a layup, he tried to pass it to the corner. You guys know the play I'm talking about. Intercepted easily. Pacers back the other way. Like, the Knicks were off on almost every single level last night. Nothing was really working. You give up almost 45 points in the first quarter. I mean, you're playing uphill the rest of the night.
Yeah, and Halliburton was near flawless.
Yeah, no turnovers.
And it was still a tight game. It goes to show you that you can still win. You don't have to be perfect here. You can still win. But, my God, you got to do something right at some point. They never had a real strong stretch where you felt like they were in control. They got behind early in that first quarter, and they were chasing ever since the whole game, and obviously could never catch the Pacers. BT and Sal or at least in the end, BT and Sal on the Fan. We'll continue the conversation. A couple things there, BT. I do want to get into more of the offense and what they're supposed to be, Tibbs, and then the stuff that we were texted about last night. We had the conversation all day yesterday. We'll have that again coming up in a little bit. 888-808-119. Just getting started on this Wednesday morning. BT and Sal on the Fan.